So on the two, I guess left-hand reformers, the green is the strongest, the red is medium, and the blue is the lightest. So I will usually start with all springs for footwork, unless someone says it's too heavy. Sometimes the shoulders actually feel like the bones on the shoulders. I think people who have bonier shoulders just feel more. I'll take off a red.
Okay.
Okay. So you can decide. So what I do before is we just do a little warm up. I just start warming up the hips.
And the bar is in the position.
In the middle position.
Okay.
And so I just take the hip like this and I just warm up the hip. If it'll let you.
I really want to be getting shorter.
And then you can do the other side. Because these will be early morning sessions.
Oh, right.
You can place the feet like this, or like how Becky had them originally straddled, and you can see how my hips don't like that so much anymore. So I'll do this one, and you can let them grab the bar. Usually, just stretching out people's backs and hips is usually what feels best. Just kind of a warm up, and then I have you lay down. And let me show you how to get onto the machine. I never really do this. I always do it. You want to sit close to the bar, right? Close to the bar, and you're going to grab your hand across and slide through like this.
I do it now that I'm older. Because I just keep banging myself up on stuff. So. Okay.
And then I just start with some knee sways. I hold on to the two pegs at the back and then drop the knees from side to side. And I just let people notice what it feels like for about 4. And then start to draw your first quartile back towards your back to bring your knees back. So just let them hang over to one side. Pull the belly button towards the machine to bring your legs back. You want to use about 80% of your first quartile to bring it back.
So if you hold the pegs, then that opens your chest. Right?
Yes, exactly. You could even think about pulling yourself like you're going to do a pull-up. As you bring your your knees back with your abs, you can think of pulling yourself like a turtle coming out of its shell. So you get a little bit of that upper back action. And one more time, and then crossing the left over the right. I do the same thing. I do a knee sway with the legs crossed. And as you come over this way, you'll find that you can sort of pull on the leg. It gets a little bit more into that hip flexor, maybe outer hip. Same idea, you want to use the first quartile to bring you back to the center. I don't know, between 6 and 8 is plenty. And then you can do the other side, same thing, drawing the leg from one side to the other, just feeling that release through the back. And then let me know when you guys want to come in and practice.
Okay.
If you guys, it doesn't have to be at the same time. You can just come in and bring the video and just practice.
Okay.
And I can leave the machine set up for you, however, which one you want to practice. Well, you have them at home.
I can do it at home. Yeah. And I
Or you guys can get together and do it.
I did the first one at home, but then the second one I started it and got sidetracked.
Yeah. And just rub your calves on the bar. I just do a little ankle circle here, just moving the ankles around. Kind of loosen up the calf. You can rub your calf on that bar. Good. So footwork, I'm going to do the full series of footwork. The first position is just arches on the bar. And usually I ask the clients to tell me, if it feels too heavy. So the first thing you want to do is feel your first quartile push towards the machine and towards the bar, just to push out. And the goal here, you can have your hands by your sides. Sometimes people's shoulders don't like to, but I like to grab the pegs and think of pulling the pegs apart so that I really open up through that chest. And we're just going to go in and out. Exhale. Inhale in. Ankles and toes touching. Thinking of kicking through the bar and giving a little bit of a pull to open up through the chest. And we'll do 8 more. 8, 7, 6. Breathing out to push out. 4, 3, 2, and last position is bird on a perch, where you grab the bar with your toes. You kind of grip it like a bird would, and you do the same thing. As you push out, you can drop your heels underneath the bar to get a little bit of an Achilles stretch. This is also a foot strengthener, and sometimes people's feet cramp, myself included, today. So just seeing if you can get that grip and really stretch through the metatarsals, dropping the heels, widening through the chest, dropping that first quartile through the heels or through towards the bar. Last two. Lots to think about on these. Two, and last one. Good. And then relax the feet. I do toe push-ups here, where you go from ball of the foot to pointed, just about 8 times. Just getting some motion through the feet. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Then from there we go to heels. Heels, you want to feel like you're sort of wiping your heels upward when you're doing this. So as I push out, instead of just pushing through the bar, I want to feel like I'm pushing through and up through the bar, which should activate the low abdominal. So there's a feeling of pressing through and up, like if you could swipe your feet upward. And this one is usually in a little bit of a first position, but you can also do it parallel. I feel like parallel gets a little bit more into the adductors, so let's just try 5 totally parallel, meaning inner thighs. 7 and 8. Good. Nice. The next one is turned out, so those legs as turned and as wide as the bar. This action, you want to feel like the heels are pulling together, so this is a convergence. And then it's a divergence of the legs to go out, or of the knees to go out. So converging the legs inward, and then diverging the legs outward. So if I was to sort of feel like there's a magnet between my heels and energy coming in, and I want to feel like a string is pulling my knees outward. So let's go inhale, press. Exhale to release. Inhale, and again you can have the arms on the pegs or not. A little bit of an opening in the chest. And 2 more. And last one. Good. And then bring the feet back to the center. This is a variant that I very rarely do, but it's a great one, where you put your feet under the bar and you push out. And I only do about 5 of them. And you're gonna push up into the bar with the balls or tops of the feet. It's actually not the toes, it's more the ridge of the metatarsals.
Can't even do that. Yeah.
And even just pushing up into it is plenty, not even having to push out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just to get the tops of those feet nice and strong. Good. Then high heels. This is where you bring your ankles and toes touching again. You're in stilettos, and you push out, and you drop, and you lift, and you come back in. Again, push out, you drop, you lift, you come back in. Again, pushing out, you drop, you lift, back in. 3 more. Push out, drop, lift, back in. 2. And last one. Good, and rest. The next one is the best one. When you're just prancing, you're just alternating feet. So I'll have you do 16 with singles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then you're gonna hold the right side down for 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now 4s. 4, 3, 2. Switch. 4, 3, 2. Switch. 2s. 1, 2, 1. Another set. Last set. 1. Good. Back to singles. 4, 16, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Coming back up. So usually at this point, you can continue laying down, but I usually feel like I need to get up and sort of recalibrate what's happened.
Yep.
So go ahead and just turn to standing. We'll do the knee series. And these, Jill, would you mind handing that pink mat to Becky? And then, I like the knee series a lot. I feel like it's a really great series. You can just leave the ring on it wherever. And this one you do need to change the springs in the bar. The bar needs to go to the highest. And I usually like blue and red for this. On this machine, it would be 2 red because that's all there is.
But you were saying
If you want it, yeah. There's sort of 2 ways to look at it. The more spring, the more resistance.
Okay, what did you say about the springs? I changed the bar up.
Oh, blue and red for this series.
Blue and red, okay.
And personally, I like my knees as wide as the pad. That's my preference.
Now, one of these things does not go all the way in. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. It should stay.
One of them does, though. Okay.
And yours comes out, and so does mine. So hers is there with the lock. So the first one is just to push back with your up body. So you're pushing your arms, and then you're lifting in. It's kind of like an up dog. So you're going back with a straight back. You want to feel like you kind of push. I'm going to just give you an example. You're going to push into the bar and wide. So when I was being taught, it was pull your shoulders down, which is, a lot of people still cue that, but I don't cue like that anymore because I had so much pain through here from doing so many lat pulls and too much of it. I actually do the opposite where I want to feel like I spread that area and I feel like I spread the collarbone. So I feel like I'm going like this with my arms, like almost like swimming. And then I feel like there's a little bit more connection to the front. And it's kind of what gives you that open chest look too. So I do about 8 to 10. Now I could make it harder and make it lighter, but it's more about finding the connection this early on. So I think that's about 5, so maybe 3 more.
Yeah.
Really deepening the first quartile towards the back and spreading that chest open. 2. And last one. You got it. Good. And then from there, I just take my toes and I sit back on my feet if that's possible for someone. Or if the knees are not happy, then they can just step forward for a moment. There's 2 options in this particular, just to give the arms a rest. The next one, you can probably rest a little longer than I gave you. But you're gonna have stability in the upper body and just the lower half of the body is going to move. Now this is where you wanna feel, again, the same action in the arms where you're pushing and spreading. Because if I just pull down, I'm just compressing my back. And my goal is to see if I can get a deep crease in my hip and send my butt bones back towards my heels. And you may want to just have your head look down towards the springs so that the neck feels in alignment. I'm going to come give you some cues. I'm going to cue to pull into the hip. Okay. I'm going to feel this, pull really deep. Yes, just sit your butt back. Stick your butt out. Yeah, now keep sticking it out. There you go. Good. Nice. Good. Yes, beautiful. Good. Just a couple more. This one also is great to warm the body up. Good, and then last one. Now the next one is the cat back. From the side, I'm not sure you can see this in the video very well. You go back, just like you did, and instead of sticking your butt, you're gonna round through the back and then into an extension. So it's a little bit like a combination exercise of all 3 of them. So you go back, just like you did in the first exercise with a straight back. Then you're gonna let your knees come underneath you, and then you're gonna roll through the back like you're gonna do a centipede, and then you go back. You go into a straight back, you pull your knees underneath you, just like the second exercise. Now you're gonna lift, drop your first quartile, and lift your rib cage up to the ceiling, and then you're in an extension. Good, going back. Bring your knees in towards you, stick your butt towards your heels. And you're gonna start to drop your first quartile towards the mat, and then lift your rib cage up like a centipede. Good, 3 more just like that. Inhale, exhale to come up. Inhale to go back. And then exhale to start to roll up. Inhale back.
I just want to watch you. How far are you bending? You're bending a lot.
And then start to roll. Pushing back, pull the knees in, stick it out, and then start to roll up. Now some people's knees won't move that much, so you can kind of give a variation on that. Good, last one. I like this one, it's one of my favorites. Now, the next one is a standing series, and you can just put your feet underneath your mat, or you can just kick it off. It's a real technique, yeah. I do suggest you keep the knees soft. There's very few people, both of you have really long hamstrings, so you can do it, but most people don't. The most important part of the exercise is the spine. So this is where you'll give cueing. So if my back is like this, that means my legs are, yeah, that one you just have to.
That's okay.
Got it.
Oh, we're
All the high, yeah, high one. You want to think again, pushing into the bar, and you're doing the same thing we just did on our knees, but with our legs straight-ish, keyword-ish. So you're just pulling in, and you want to think of sticking your butt back towards the wall, as for lack of a better saying, you're sticking your butt out. Now again, I want to spread through the chest, feel that same action in the bar. 10, maybe 8 to 10 times, so we've got 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one.
Your heels are staying
down. There's another version of zone. I'm going to go to that to the last one.
Okay.
The next one would be the cat. The only difference in this one is that the back stays in a cat position. I like this exercise because it's really stretchy of my back. I like the feeling. And it's probably one of the only flexiony ones that I do on the reformer. I don't do any of the sit-ups.
So the movement's not very far.
No, but you can feel that that lower
Yeah.
abdominal is really working to bring the carriage in.
So it's more upper back than hamstrings.
Correct. More abs, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I could ride the carriage back in, but I'm trying to control it too. So, and last one. Beautiful. Let's take a break. If you feel safe to stand up, otherwise just come onto your knees. I'm going to show you the next one. It might be helpful to watch this one.
Okay.
And this, are you guys warm?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm not hot, but I'm fine.
Just turn off the heater.
Oh, yeah.
So the feet go up on this one, and I would say this is a little bit more of an intermediate advanced exercise. This is where you go from a plank to an up to a down dog. It's a great exercise. You can also do it with your feet flat, which might feel safer for most people.
Against the blocks.
Correct, yeah. And going into that plank, you just sort of lift, and then you let your head release between your arms. But I like my feet up for some reason. I just like the feeling better. But again, I want to feel like I'm diverging my arms when I go into my plank. And then I want to diverge the arms as I come back up. Again, diverge the arms, and then up. I wouldn't do more than 8, so that would be 4, 5, 6. It's a great exercise. 7, really lifting the tail up. And last one, 8.
It seems like a more advanced move. You do it with beginners? Sounds like.
If they're strong beginners, yeah.
Okay.
But if it's somebody who has trouble with balance, maybe not. Or someone who's not as strong in their upper body,
Okay.
not as often. But I really like the plank. I think it's a great exercise. I actually prefer it than the elbows myself.
Okay.
But that's me. Then I have you back to your pink mat. And then we'll go back to laying down after this. Okay, so this one is a 1 green or 2, a red and a blue. It depends on how much stretch you want. If I'm doing 1 green is lighter than 2, a red and a blue, I believe. And this one is a stretching and a strengthening exercise. This is for the back of the body, posterior chain, butt, back. You're gonna bring your right leg down, left leg is on the pink mat. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your legs pretty close to each other. So I don't wanna have like I'm walking, I just want them right next to each other. Like if I put my other leg down, they'd be next to each other. And this one is, I'm gonna extend the arm and the leg. So the opposite arm is leg. So what do they call this?
Elephant? No.
Elephant, there's a name for it.
No.
When you're on the mat, what's it called?
Oh.
It's a mat exercise, but we're doing it with the reformer.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. You're not bending this knee,
remember
but you're
Lisa-
I
lifting
know,
out.
something plex, something, I can't remember the name of it either. Some dinosaurish kind of name.
So if your head goes into alignment with your arm and your body, then
Mhm, you
know,
could.
flat plane.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Now I cue this, if I was to cue it, I'd say find the first quartile first. So really
Okay.
find that first quartile and then extend from there. And then people can go as far down as they like for stretching. Like Susan Hahn, I guarantee she's gonna be a client. Sorry, it's on video, but she loves to stretch through things, and she has that flexibility. So some people that really like the flex and the stretch can go for it. I think it sort of depends on what the client is looking for. And then if I was looking for more activation of the glute and the butt, I might do like a pulse in between. You could do 4 pulses. If it's too heavy, you can go to a red. Or are your hands done?
Yeah, I'm wondering about if people have issues.
You could do it
with
like
their
this.
Hands.
I usually just go to the forearm.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay,
actually
that's
kind of nice
Good
too.
idea.
Yeah, wrist is another one. You're right. Wrist is another one that it can only take so much, I think.
Yeah.
Good. And then from there, you can just drop. You can take a step forward with your bottom leg, and then you can keep the forearms, or you can go back to wrist.
Okay.
And just go into a stretch. And then I like to add a rotation right here, because we haven't done much rotation. And it's about midway through your workout. Rotation is a good thing to do more towards the middle end. Now when I cue this, I cue the side that's touching the bar. So the side that's touching the bar is going to start to push you to open that side. So you're going to feel that side opening. Yeah. I get about 6 to 8 of them.
Say that again, the side?
Yeah, so this
This,
one, right, also known as left,
Is gonna do what?
is gonna push you to open
Okay.
instead of your right
Oh,
pulling you.
yeah.
Yeah. Good, one more. So the left side, the one that's on the bar, is pushing you to open your chest in that direction. Should feel good. And then if people are super flexy, they can go into a split, meaning straightening the front leg. I'm sorry, Becky, I don't have a mat on that side for you. I would put a mat on that side for your foot too.
Oh,
Just didn't have time to do it.
or a,
Mhm.
yeah, sticky. The
Good.
little sticky.
And then I usually have people walk because then they can tell how they feel. Each side is slightly different. And then we do fourplex. I think it's called fourplex or something like that. I've heard a couple different names for it.
No, it's, I just can't.
Superman.
Later.
I think sometimes they call it
Maybe.
Superman.
Maybe.
I think each place calls it something different.
Yeah.
In any case, whatever it's called, it's a standing leg raise. And it's a back of the body exercise, right? And again, if my wrist is not happy, I can bring my forearm and you would just do something along those lines. And if you want more of a stretch, you would hang over the leg. It's up to the client how far they would like to go. Just as long as that first quartile is the impetus of the movement.
So the knee comes off the mat, but on this one.
The knee comes off, exactly. You could probably spend quite a bit of time with this particular exercise.
Yeah.
You could start small, make it bigger. You could progress this one. I could start like this, just my leg and my arm, and then I could add about, 5 or 6 like this, where I extend it all the way. So you can play with, you could try it with the elbows for everybody. How does that feel? Just progress on this one.
Okay.
It's a great exercise for many reasons. Then you stick the bottom leg a little bit more forward. You go into a stretch. The knee can be straight or bent on the bottom to start. Again, it can progress into straight. It can start bent. And then you want to feel that the right side, or the bottom side, is the one that rotates you. So exhale down, inhale to go up. usually with extension, kind of the rule of thumb, is that the right word? Is to inhale as you go up. Good. And last one.
Now, if you have 3 clients in here, do you jump on and demonstrate? Okay.
Yeah. Then you can go into a full split or half a split or any kind of split. The elbow sometimes allows you to go a little bit further deep down, and then the hands allows you to go further back. So it's up to you sort of
Right,
play with both of
because
those.
that's-
Yeah. Awesome. So, this one is one of my, I kind of made this up. I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's not a classic Pilates movement. But it's a really nice place to put it because I'm going to go into legs next.
Okay.
I'm going to go arms and legs and then we'll be done. So it's just, there's 2 ways to do this exercise. Yeah, you guys can face me so you can see it.
Yeah.
I go to the furthest block. So come to the one closer to me. And you want to be sort of close to the machine. It's a great balance exercise because the bar is there. Of course, if the person pulls on the bar, it's going to come with them. But think of pushing the bar away from you with your fingertip. And you feel like your foot and your finger go in opposition. Now I could go into a stretch and go for a full stretch. This is another way to do the one, especially if you have two to three clients. I feel nervous to spot them standing on the machine.
Yeah.
So this is another way to do the split exercise. You could also do it with your leg like this, where you split all the way down, and then you squeeze the legs to come in. So this is a great inner thigh balance without having to stand on it.
When you did the first one.
This is more like a hamstring press. The goal would be to eventually do it with no hands.
Your body's staying over here, over the standing leg,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
you're just pushing out. You're
So
not
maybe-
going out.
Yeah, well, that's a variation.
You can do
So
that.
I'm just showing you the variations,
Okay.
just so you can decide maybe where you're at. And then you could go for a full stretch if you like. That's up to the person. This is more the strength part of it, right? It's kind of a progressional exercise similar to the previous one. And then it could go into a stretch. And then you could also do it where you turn your leg inward and do the same thing where you bend and kick like so. It's really getting into this part of the hip. And then it can go into a stretch as well. So it's just a variation similar to the last one.
Okay. And when you come in, your knee bends.
Well, let me just say, when I'm in this position, I could technically bend the knee the whole time.
Yes.
And I could technically straighten it the whole time. And again, that's a variation that you can progress on. So this series could take you a good 10-15 minutes to do. If you did 8 of each, right? You could do bent leg for 8. You could do straight leg for 8. And go into a stretch. Then you could turn the toe inward. And you could do a bent leg press. Kind of like I call this like a karate chop. And then you could do it with your legs straight. Same thing on the bottom. I'm talking about the bottom leg.
Yeah, standing.
And then you could go for a stretch with a bent leg and a straight leg. You could play with that on each side. Good. Jill, you're going to be in the video for this one because you'll face me for this. And I'll take you through the whole series this time on this leg. I just talked through it more on that one. So you place the leg like so. And we'll start with a bent knee on the bottom. And you're just going to kick in and out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now straighten the top leg and think about diverging the hand and the leg. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now go for a stretch with a bent leg. Just go as far as your body will let you go. And then coming back up, and then do it with a straight leg, so it's kind of like a split-ish position. Good, now we'll do the same thing, but with the leg in rotation in. Kind of do a karate chop. You're gonna bend your bottom knee and kick out with that top leg. 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now straighten the bottom leg and do the same thing, pushing out 1, 2, it's a good butt exercise. 3, 4, and I'd say balance is what everyone needs. 6, 7, myself included. 8, good. And then you can go for a stretch with a bent knee on the bottom. And then you can go for a stretch with a straight leg on the bottom. Nice. The way I taught that was not the best way. I'm gonna admit that in the video. I should have done it that way and then broken it down, but you could do that variation. You can fast forward that part of the video. Okay, so then from here, I have people lay down. We sort of end laying down with some variations. Go ahead and take the pink mat off. Go ahead and put your bar back to the center. And let's do one green. Everything else can be off. So we'll do a little bit of arms and we'll do a little bit of legs, and then we're done. So I don't do a ton of flexion on purpose. I just feel like it's not necessary for most people. All the abs are done with just lengthening more so than anything else. So I start with the straps in the hands. If people have super short arms and it feels like these are super loose, you can change the handles, the hard handles on the wall there.
Oh.
And I honestly, personally, like to hold the straps like this. I'm not sure why. I think it's just a preference. So the first choreography is just straight down. Your legs are in tabletop, or if their back hurts, just have them drop their knees. And the goal here is to spread wide through the collarbone and deepen your first quartile. Find maybe your cable contraction as well. Again, between 8 and 10.
Now, are you forcing or your lower back into the?
No,
No, you're just leaving it like neutral, I guess.
I'm actually focusing on my belly button and going towards my tailbone, which might create a little bit of an arch, but it should create a solidity in that area. Good. Then we'll go into this one. This one you do extend the arms and the legs. Again, pushing your first quartile towards your tail, which for me sort of takes care of the arch in the back for me when I do that. Feel like your belly button's gonna go towards your tail. Just inhale, exhale, press. Stay wide in the chest. Number one thing that happens in these, the chest starts to curve inward. And last one. Good, arms together. Legs are gonna go wide. It's up to you how wide the person wants to go, it's fine. The hard part about this is that the shoulders wanna come up. So see if you can stay proud through the chest as you push out. You can flex your feet for a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. To strengthen the quads, you can point the toes. We're gonna go into legs after this, so I usually have them flex. And you feel your abs working, usually. Good. And then from here, instead of doing the 100, this is my variation of the 100. I just bring the arms out, I hold, and I do little flutters with the legs. I just hold the straps too. If it's too hard for people to hold the strap or it feels like too much, then they can just hold on to the pegs. And I do about 40 or so. I feel like that's like 16, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last set, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then that sort of feels like it takes care of that ab burn that sometimes people are looking for. I do a little bit of a sway here, just to loosen up the back. If at any point the back starts to hurt, I just usually have people do bridges instead if their back starts to hurt. Or if it's too much with the legs up. People with extremely long legs, which is not any of our problem, sometimes that hurts their back because the lever is just too long for them. So people with super long legs usually don't do well with those exercises. So either I'll help by holding them or just have them do bridging instead. So I'll change your springs for you so you can stay laying down. But you're gonna either do a red and a green for stronger, but I'll have you do 2 reds today for legs. I usually start people with 2 reds, but you can easily progress to a red and a green for legs. But we did a lot so far. It's a pretty intense workout, so I would say red is fine. This is towards the end. So both feet on the straps. I want to show you a variation on that. So if someone's hip, like when I was recovering my hip or when my hip hurts, I put the straps around my thighs. And I do the whole series that you guys are doing, but with the legs like this. So it's just, or again, if someone's back is hurting, I would suggest doing, I didn't change my springs. I would suggest doing that one, okay? Those are two common ones. So I just start with Happy Baby. Do you remember Happy Baby, Becky? Where you just bring the feet together?
Do this, right?
Yeah. And you just sort of relax the hips. It's more just a stretch. And I would say I come back to that one. Kind of, there's two ways to Happy Baby, like this with the feet together, or like you guys are doing like this. Either one is fine.
Yeah.
Classic Pilates starts with the legs stretch, hamstring stretch it's called. The legs go out and they go straight down. I cue this one again, I hold on to the pegs and I widen the chest and I think of kicking through the straps. That's one of the best cues I've found for almost everyone, is to think of going through the strap instead of just kicking into it. Foot cramping is another thing that happens, so flexing the feet sometimes helps. Sometimes pointing the toes, it doesn't really matter how you do it. Pointing the toes tends to work the quads more, flexing tends to work the hamstrings more. So even for yourself, if you wanted to vary that, it's fine. With legs, I usually do about 10 reps. 7, just because they're stronger than the rest of us. 9, and last one, 10. Kicking through that strap. Good, and then I kind of I do the Happy Baby in between those, just for a couple of seconds. The next one is the Frogger. So you push out. The first variant just goes push, just in and out. Again, my goal is to get my first quartile to push through the legs and then through the straps, and then widening through the chest. Again, the holding of the pegs sometimes is tiring for people's arms, so you can drop the arms, but still cue to stay wide through the chest. The next variant on the Frogger is to open, close. You go out, open, close, and bend. Again, open, close, bend. Open, close, bend. Open, close, bend. Think of kicking through the straps, especially at the peak of the pressure. Especially as you bring the legs in, they're gonna wanna relax. I don't mean as you bend, as you bring the feet together. So really staying strong through that. Good. The next variant, I just broke my machine.
Oh no!
Anyway, I'm glad it happened to me. All right, so I really need to get some now. I'm just doing about the straps. The next variant is where you push, you lower, you lift, you come back in. You push, you lower, you lift back in. You push, it's a very small lower and lift. You push out, you lower, it's a very small. And the goal again is to see how much pressure you can push through those straps. Again, push through the straps. Last two. And last one. Beautiful. All right. Come back to the Happy Baby. Usually that's one that's very intense for most people. Great leg strengthener, really great for inner thighs. The next series is circles. I usually do internal, parallel, and turn out, and I do little tiny circles in each one. So 10 circles, time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then reversing 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you're gonna do, parallel. I got it. So little circles outward or inward, it doesn't matter. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then reverse 10, 9, 8, kicking through the straps. 3, 2, and 1. And then turn out like a duck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and proud through the chest. Kicking through the straps. 7, 8, 9, 10. Reversing 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2, and 1. Good, back to happy baby. Or any kind of rest is fine. Sometimes, actually, yeah, the one that Jill's doing where the feet are all the way down, sometimes a lot of people like that one too. That's a baby version, we call that one of the babies. Then I do big circles from here. Have you choose which one you feel like you want to do, but sometimes I'll do 5 turned out and 5 in parallel. So as big of a circle as you can make. In this room, because it's small, you might have to do one person goes and then the next person goes. But going through a full range of motion in the leg, which is different for everyone. And then going the opposite way for 10, again, you could do 5 with parallel legs and 5 and turn out, or the whole thing and turn out, your choice. Good, and resting the legs. Beautiful. Do you guys know how to do the tower? They call it short spine on the reformer, but
Oh.
I can't do it because it's broken. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
can
Short spine.
short
Oh,
spine.
yeah.
I would say this one is definitely not for someone coming the first time.
Okay, good.
Number one thing though is you want to lower the headrest. Very, very important because you want to be able to have your head not compressed. But I'll demonstrate it and then you guys can do it. Okay? So straps are here. You start in the Frogger position. I particularly like to hold shoulder blocks, or what are these called, the pegs. You really, really go as far as possible with your toes. The tendency is a lot of people try to go up here and it's much harder.
Yeah.
But you want to let the toes go past your nose so that it starts to lift the hips, and then from there you do the teaser or whatever. They have a lot of different names for it. And then you slowly roll down. Now you could do, I like mine in turnout personally, just because my hips are tight. I don't fold very easily. But another way to do it is with the legs in parallel. Let me talk you through the breath really quick. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale to roll, and here's where I spread those pegs, because otherwise I feel like this, right? So really spreading the pegs as you do that roll down. And this is really feels really good on your back if your back is not hurt. Okay. So I'll have you guys try it just because.
And you're still just on 2 reds.
Still on 2 reds, yes.
So this guy is.
Let me move this over. Well, I got my answer to go get new strings.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm glad it happened now.
But you don't want to do this again with, this is kind of an advanced move, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, let me show you how to help them if they're not advanced. You're still on 2 reds. So you start in the frog position, so bend your knees. You're going to push out. You're going to bring your toes past your nose. And then you're going to start to go up, and you're going to help them with your hands. Good?
I see.
Bend your knees, and then slowly start to roll down and think spread through the chest. Good. And then I would rest in between each of them. I'll come cue you as well. So pushing out to the Frogger. Bring your toes as far past your nose as they'll go. Good, and then you can start to go up, and this is how I would just help them. It doesn't seem like a lot for me, but it seems like a lot for you. And then bending the knees. Does it feel, try doing it where as you come down your legs are straight. Sometimes it feels better to keep the legs straight for some people. Personally, I don't think so, but the bending of the knees does compress the spine a little bit, so you may want, people may want to do it with their legs bent. So again, the only reason I'm doing this one is this is a flexion, but I think of really opening the chest on the way down, because otherwise it's a lot of compression. I'd say 3 to 5 is plenty. You don't really need to do that much more. But by this time in the session, your body's ready for it. I would never start with this exercise.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely an end of the session feeling exercise. And it's a great stretch. Okay. And then from there, I take the legs out to a straddle, either a single-legged straddle or a double-legged straddle.
Peter Pan, that's what they
Peter Pan.
That exercise with the,
This one where.
oh, yeah.
Mhm.
This is very Peter Pan-ish.
Yeah, and then you could do a straddle. And then from there, you're pretty much done. And you can take your straps off or do happy baby. And then I just have them do, you started with some knee sways when you were laying down, and that should feel a lot better. Should feel more relief, less stiff. Do you remember the one where you crossed the leg and you did the knee sway? That's the one I usually feel the big difference in. Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. And that's it.
Woo, yeah,
Awesome
we're
sauce.
gonna do this.